Hello, everyone. Welcome to the hotspot. Big up, everyone. Welcome again. It's been a minute, and welcome everyone. Welcome everyone. Hope everyone is doing great. Hope everyone is doing fine. It's been a while. We've been on a year. Everyone has been what they call being busy. But again, big up everyone, and welcome to the hotspot. And again, it's Tash here, your host Tash, just to go through what's been happening over the past weeks. I know we did. I think the last video we did was more so on the what they call the FA Cup side, and big up GB was on the FA Cup side. That's where we had what they called our last show was more so the watch along between United and Man City, which we won. That Drex made a comment. How come we won? And there's no video on the hotspot. Are we against United winning? But no, I've been busy. I've been tired, and again, it's good to be back to watch to just go through what's been happening in United. Also, just to get your thoughts, get your comments, get your ideas, and what you think what you probably think the outcome would be on the transfer market. So let me know your thoughts, please, guys. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And again, this is the HubSpot, and welcome. Where do we start? It's a lot have been going on, lot have been happening though. I think pertaining to United, from what they called from a manager perspective to what they call to transfer window. Also, I look at it what they call to also the what's the future for United. Is Ineos won't take us back, but Ineos probably will move at a very, very, very slow pace. It will be very, very slow pace for what they call for Ineos. So anyone that's expecting what they call quick fix, please, guys, it's not happening. There is no quick fix for what they call for United. Give me 1 second here. Let me do something. 1 second here. One second. Yeah, so basically, there's no quick fix with Aeneas. To be fair, there's no quick fix. It will be probably slow paced in terms of what's the progress United would make. But where do I start? I'll start first with the coach. Now, to me, prior to what they called prior to the game between Man City, I felt it was sad. It was very sad how the media how basically the media handled the leaks on Eric Ten Hag's future, how they handled all that. To me, it was extremely poor. That shouldn't happen in a club or the size of United. More so when you're looking at going into a final game, or going into what they call a final match, right, where you can possibly win a trophy. There were several narratives stating probably it might have come from Chelsea, because at the same time they were talking to the same managers United were actually talking to. But I don't really believe that. I believe what they call these actually were leaks that came out of United, and I think though it's poor. It's poor from the club. Now one would say, oh, it's Sir Jim didn't know, the group Ineos as the group they didn't know. But I'll tell you guys one thing for sure. Ineos are good at actually keeping everything secret so far. So for them to let that out, right? So basically, someone wanted that information to actually come out. Now, what was the benefit of that? Is it probably unstable, the manager, or is that they already had plans to fire the manager? Oh, I'm not sure why they would leak that out, because Ineos have always kept things quiet, very, very tight-lipped on things. Imagine now looking at this scenario, we know nothing that's happening what they call with Eric and Ten Hag, because Ineos kept it quiet. How come that came out? So to me, it's very fishy, right? Knowing certain information could leak and certain information couldn't leak. So I'm not saying it's a deliberate attempt from Ineos to actually leak that information, but I would say it's a bit suspicious for that information to have come out what they called before the game. And good, Eric Ten Hag, what they call Eric Ten Hag won the match, which I think now again has probably delayed Ineos's decision, because then if Eric Ten Hag had lost, it's easy for them to just nail him on what they call on the mast and say, you know what, you're done. We don't have Europe. We're currently eighth. I am what they call it. Currently, we're currently eighth. Then what they call, there's no style of play. The team doesn't really have what they call the future. So I think they probably just compiled all that, right, and placed that on Eric Ten Hag. But what happened was that we won, and now winning now basically changing that changing what they call changing that uh, um, narrative, changing that narrative. So it's difficult for them now to say, okay, you're fired, but in that they're going back to say, okay, you know what do we have to do? I think, as from my understanding, they've already made a review before now. Why are they now doing a review again? So it's a bit shocking. But I've always known, I think I mentioned this a long time ago, right? When Barada came in, when even Ineos came in, when Eric Ten Hag was even doing well, I said Eric Ten Hag for sure. Eric Ten Hag for sure will face what they call a review process, meaning that they will have to look at them and say, okay, you know what, even if he has done so well, evaluate from end to end his 2 seasons and see what he has done, and basically that's what they're actually doing now. 1 second. So again, that's what they're doing now, trying to what they call it, trying to see what decisions would they want to make as what they call as it pertains to Eric Ten Hag. What do I want? What do I want? And what do I think? Now, what do I want? If you're looking at both seasons, right, it's very funny, right? It's the first season was very good, very good. Even for me, even if we didn't win the trophy the first season, that was good. It was a good season. My only concern was the first season was more. I was very concerned about us not having a pattern of play. We won games. We won games basically using a mixture of our old system and what Eric Ten Hag was trying to what they called implement. Right? We didn't have what they called. We know how Eric Ten Hag plays, but it wasn't really like that last season. But overall, last season was very good. As in, to me, he overachieved. Knowing where we came from prior to last season, I think Eric Ten Hag really overachieved, right? Because I think if probably had come out fourth or fifth, no one probably would beat an eye. But because I think he did so well last season, I think it's now actually paying for it this season. It's like you shouldn't have done so. It's like a salesman. A salesman, if you probably give you a target of 1 million, oh, you beat your 1 million. Oh shit, your next target basically will be what they call 1.2 million. You beat target, so it keeps going out, right? So you can't drop. Once you drop, automatically you have to explain why you've dropped, and there should be a good reason why you've dropped from where you were to um, um, where you are now. And I think that is where Eric Ten Hag might have a case in his job now. What do I want? So I'll say again, first season was very good. Second season was what they called was a bit was it was a lot happening. It's like the perfect chaos. It's like a lot happening at the same time. And I will start from what they call some from the things I remember. Right? So probably there might some things I would have missed out. From what I understand, right, from a stats perspective, United had the most injuries, right, in the Premier League. And again, and big up, Stephanie, big up. United had the most injuries this season from all teams in the Premier League. I think that's one. I think also what is key, right, is we had injuries in key places. We had injuries in key places, which basically could affect you. With injuries are places that were pivotal to Eric Ten Hag's success the previous year, and that was the defense. The defense was pivotal to what Eric Ten Hag achieved last year, and that same defense we had issues with that defense this year. From an injury perspective, from Varane to what's his name, to Lisandro Martinez, to Lindelof, to Maguire, to no left back, zero, zilch. Left back was just left like that. There was what they call, there was no left back. So it was basically again, where was pivotal to him last year? He had what he called issues this year. Right back. I think we're probably we're steady right back. Although we had to switch several times between Dalo and Wan-Bissaka, playing either right back or playing left back. But one thing I'll actually say though is that um is that the defense as a whole basically was gone from an injury perspective. Drex, please just give me thumbs up in the private chat if you're ready to actually come on. From what they called from a what they called a an injury perspective, the back line was dead. Now, that's not Eric Ten Hag's fault. Where I think it's Eric Ten Hag's fault is the goalkeeping situation. While Eric Ten Hag had a plan on how he wants to play, he wouldn't have envisaged the injuries we had. So in that, he opted to buy what they called a keeper that probably puts him right, allowing plays more on the more what they called on the front foot. Big up Drex, and you are on mute if you're talking. So I'm just talking about if you're there. I'm just talking about what I want in terms of Eric Ten Hag. Just breaking down through different scenarios, things that happen. I'm starting with the back line. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can
Okay.
hear you.
Yeah. So as I am, I was saying, I said, for example, Eric Ten Hag, the what they call backline
Yeah,
was actually an injury plagued from Lisandro Martinez to Varane to what they call to having no left back. So none of that is his fault. I think we're probably hold Eric Ten Hag a bit accountable again. He wouldn't have had that foresight. It's more so getting Onana instead of what they call a Dagi, because I think if we had Dagi, probably would have probably savaged, would have probably gone further, I believe, in the Champions League and probably getting Dagi's probably to what extra what they call 6 or what they call 7 points. So I think letting Dagi go was a mistake. Right, we didn't have to make that decision at that time because we were not set up to play how Eric Ten Hag actually wanted to play, looking at our midfield. Right. So the next thing is the midfield. So the midfield this season, right? Casemiro was our best player last year. Casemiro actually fell off. So for me, that's not Eric Ten Hag's fault. Something what can happen. Also, Eric Ten Hag was trying to implement a system which most likely might have what they called impacted Casemiro's form, meaning Casemiro can't play what they call in the system Eric Ten Hag wants actually to play. So the midfield, remind me, do you have any injuries in the or injuries in the midfield?
I I don't think so. I don't think so. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah, I can hear you. Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you.
In the midfield, I don't think we had any core injury in the midfield.
Okay. Okay.
So,
So midfield was fine. I think that's where some of our biggest issues came in, right? I think that from the midfield perspective, right?
mhm.
Could Eric Ten Hag have done better? But he wants to implement the system. There are several people that are not actually good for that system. So you can't actually blame him because he can't keep what they call it, playing to what the players want, because then there is no sustainability and longevity in that. So I think him trying to implement the system and having the players adapt was the best approach. At such,
Yeah,
some players didn't actually fit what he actually wanted to do. Now Rashford dropped form. Rashford was the highest goal scorer last year. So no one wants Spade, Rashford and Casemiro, the two best players last year, will drop to what they call to a very, very low level, which automatically impact the team, right? And impacts our
yeah.
ability, what they call to get result. Because if you notice, right, even when we played poorly last year, somehow we still got result through either Rashford,
Or the
sometimes even Casemiro,
or the defense line holding their
holding back.
own. Yeah,
Like,
keeping.
exactly. Sorry, go ahead.
No. The defense was solid yesterday. Last season, we actually, a lot of the success we enjoyed last season, even especially at Old Trafford, was down to the way the defense,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I know Onana was sorry,
Pivotal.
was pivotal. More like, for me, it was more of the steady back four. Onana hasn't
Mhm.
really gotten a steady back four. So
Yes.
And let's just let's not forget that not every signing, bro, not every signing would be a hit. Not every signing would work, right? Onana, on the other hand, I think he would come good. It's just his first season,
No,
and
so I'm just actually in my come good. What I'm just going by, I'm just going, okay, looking at everything, right? And I want to
yeah.
make my what they call decision. Will I keep Ten Hag or not? Just going through every single
Oh,
piece. But
oh,
but
okay. You're trying to okay.
yeah, go
For
through every
me,
single piece. Yeah, go ahead.
it's a case of let Ineos. For me, I've come to the I've come to a realization, or I've come to an agreement or conclusion that whatever Ineos decide, right,
Mhm,
good or bad, to them, I would, I don't have a choice than to back the manager, right? So for me, back their decision, because I've always wanted a structure, and I believe the structure would come good, right? But that's I'm just hoping it will come good. Let me not use the word I believe. I'm hoping it will come good. So whatever decision they make, good or bad, it will fall on their laps. If it ends up being a catastrophic decision, a very bad one, it ends on their lap. If it ends up being a good one, the praise goes back to them. So it's whatever. So now they can't hide anymore, right?
mhm,
They cannot hide anymore. What's taking them? I know they don't have they it's not they mustn't come out and say, okay, the manager is staying, because guess what? The manager is contracted for, I think, 3 years with an option of one more, an extension or option to extend for one more, right? So
yeah.
for me, let them decide whatever they want to do, but I don't think they would, if they're going to keep the manager, I don't think they would make an announcement. It's just going to be, yeah, the manager. I think they might put the line out like, "Yo, we were just doing a review. The manager's
Mhm,
position was, if they're gonna keep him, the manager's position was never in doubt. We're just doing a end of season review." I think that's the blanket they will use to cover themselves in terms with all of these report and shenanigans that came out before the FA Cup, right? I think that's
mhm,
what that blanket they will just throw over themselves just to make themselves look good. But there's this gray, or this story of De Zerbi hanging there. Nobody is saying anything. But we'll come to that. Tesh, go ahead. Let me just quickly do something quickly.
okay, so as I was saying, I said to the midfield line again. Some players we had lots of what they call players that didn't suit the style. I know I am. Everyone calls them square pegs and round, or I call them basically misfits. They don't fit. They don't fit at all. Why? So we had only certain players. I think Kobe Mano did excellently well. Bruno had a what they called, I would say, an outstanding season. He had what they called. He had basically. I would say Bruno had a poor season in my what called opinion. Bruno had a poor season in my opinion. So later, I think after he rested, I think he had an injury or something. He rested and he came back and was doing what they call excellently well. So now, with that being said, midfield we had what they called, also we had injuries with Mount, which Mount probably could have also helped, right, Bruno, back and forth, right, a bit, right. So we had injuries what they called. So Mount was out for a while. Also, I think McTominay was also out what they called, out for what they called a considerable amount of time. I'm not sure if Kobe Mano started the season. I'm not 100% sure if Kobe Mano started what they called this season. I think he got injured. He didn't start the season. And we had also now moving to what I call we had and the issue what I call with Sancho, Eric Ten Hag had to deal with, right. Also the issue with Rashford, he had to deal with all several times, right, during the what I call during the season. And lastly, he had one striker. Imagine having just one striker in a United side. It's ridiculous. One striker, and the striker basically is, I won't call him he's basically still learning his trade. He's still learning the street. He's still a kid. He's around 20, I think he's 21 years old, or he's 20 years old. So Eric Ten Hag, if you look at everything, right, everything together now, he had also had a kid in Ganache. Even Ganache is 22. He also had there, and for me, that he had to overplay these guys, which normally the pilot should be just been facing the players in. And what else again? I'm thinking, what else? What issue did he have? So injury plagued, form being an issue, off-field issues, right? What they call Ineos, basically Ineos gaining what they call control of 25% of the club during that what they call that transition, right? Owning 25% of the club. So to me, several things happened during the season, which would be difficult to put everything on Eric Ten Hag. Now that being said, right, with everything said, Eric Ten Hag, what did Eric Ten Hag do wrong? I think Eric Ten Hag probably made poor choices or probably made late decision in terms of players that weren't on form and how probably he could try other players, right? I know other players were injured as well. Ahmad was injured. So probably giving other players chances, rotated a bit more when players were actually struggling through. For example, was Rashford. Bruno basically kept playing. Even Garnacho at the time was basically, I felt, you know what, this guy is almost burnt out. So I think Eric Ten Hag could have probably done a better job in rotating the players. And I think there's a bit of favorism in what and how Eric Ten Hag would call selects his players, which to me I think also impacted Eric Ten Hag. I probably think Ahmad could have played earlier and what they called could have played more. Pelestri, I probably think Pelestri could have played more because Pelestri was the only winger that basically we actually crosses the ball. All we had were invented wingers, right? So I think Eric Ten Hag from his also his man management again comes to what I call question. Eric, I say Eric Ten Hag's man management comes to question, right, on how several fallouts he has had. But again, I think it's normal for players and bosses to have what called healthy fallout. But I think the players are united, right? Majority of them they are a bit fickle in how they think or be soft in how they what call them they manage critique system. So again, it blew out of normal. And lastly, I think Eric Ten Hag's in-game tactics was an issue. So I think sometimes I think he overthought a game. He what they call it, he overthinks things. And probably sometimes, right, you don't understand what's going on because during the season, right, there was a time where we had a big hole between the defense and the attack, right, and the midfield was an issue. I think that was resolved later in the season, which everyone was like, have more men behind the ball. I think that was resolved later in the season. You could see Amrabat coming in, doing excellently well, right? I mean, I think in the last 5 games, he did well in about 3 games, very well, and also doing very well in the final. So my verdict for Eric Ten Hag, looking at everything I've said, looking at everything Eric Ten Hag went through, injuries, what they call it, Ineos taking ownership of the club, deep in form, not having the right place, and not having no left back at all, off-field issues, and his piece of what they call lack of what they call sometimes it was tactically poor. In-game management was a bit poor. Man management was poor. If you look at all those, right, basically almost like 4-3 or 5-3, where by 3 he could control 3, he couldn't what they call control. So for me, I'll give Eric Ten Hag an extra season. I'll give him an extra year to basically go figure things out, to basically go an extra year to basically what he has already, take out some and add more, right? So I'll give him an extra year and have him implement his style of play. And also, I think giving an extra Ten Hag 1 year is beneficial to Ineos, though. I think Ineos probably they might see it or probably they might not see it, right? But I believe they should see it because they are what they call they are advanced and the best businessmen in this world. They and directly already you can just come on, right? They what they called Ineos, they are excellent businessmen, so they probably see more than what I see and know probably again what I know. If they give Eric Ten Hag
So,
1
but
year,
Tesh, let's put a pause on that one, right?
yeah, yeah,
You say they are excellent businessmen and probably see more than what you see and know more than what you know. But
yes,
need I remind you that whilst they are excellent businessmen in terms of the financial and commercial aspect, right? I don't think they are brilliant enough when it comes to the footballing side. Because the man that Sir Jim holds so dearly to himself is Sir David Bresford, which in my having looked up the guy, he's more of his own idea of sports is done pretty much okay with cycling, a little bit with the old motor racing, Formula One and all of that stuff, right? But
yeah,
looking at evidence that we have on them in terms of football inside, in terms of quote and unquote what American people call soccer now, right now, English football, right?
Mhm.
They haven't done well. They have a club, Lausanne in the Switzerland side.
Mhm.
It's not like I'm going to argue, play devil's advocate on that one, but I'm just saying, looking at the evidence we have, right? They have one
Mhm.
club in Switzerland league. They have Ogenis in the French League One. It's not been superb. You can't say, okay, they walked through the door of Ogenis and everything has been going pretty much okay in
Mhm.
terms of success and all of that. It's been it's been more like play two for OG Nice, right? Probably they might be, if we look take a look at their graph, they might have been on the low, but they Ineos just came through the door almost 4 or 5 years now. No, yeah, you're going to 4 years now, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think the quantum leap that they've had in terms of progression, I don't think it's that heavy. It's just, in my opinion, uh might just be a slight one, and now they play two. The man they into the business of sacking managers, right? They they're
Why do you
into
say
the
that? You've sacked several
oh
managers?
they've sacked 5 managers at OG News. Five.
Wow.
So they're into the business of sacking managers, and you and I know that when you keep how do you build sustainability if every year you keep, and I've argued this thing a lot, and I would say that you keep changing managers. Now each manager comes with, whilst you want to have it at the back of your mind that, oh, you employed A to play Roman Figo one style of football, right?
Mhm.
Now it didn't work. You're gonna employ um coach B to play the same Roman Figo one style of football, right? It's whether we like it, there's no two persons are the same. No two persons think alike, right?
Mhm.
There's always a variation in application and process thought processing. So you've sacked 5 managers at Ogenis. You've more or less caused an instability in that place, right? Player that in turn affects players because players don't know exactly what's happening. Today,
Drex, I'm sorry to stop you. I just want to quickly run on this Ten Act and probably multiple topics I want to go into. I
oh,
know
okay,
probably we can go into details of needs. So in your case, you're saying you will keep an Eric Ten Act.
bro, I would keep Henry Ten Hag. Let me just, for just two reasons. One, the man, the Ineos don't have anything to lose by giving allow him see out his contract. Let's say, for example, it doesn't work out with Eric Ten Hag under the structure that we've been waiting for. They can actually say, okay, you know what, we decide to keep this guy to see what he could do, but he's not meeting our standard. Au revoir. Another reason why I think they should keep Eric Ten Hag is the fact that these players are beginning to get the things in them, are beginning to take on his ideology, his teachings, right? Not everybody is smart to actually learn math is the very first day you got taught, right? So for me,
Mhm.
these players are beginning to come to terms with, okay, now they, one, on the bright side, they are actually seeing, okay, there's a structure behind the sporting structure that's going to be put in place. No more chaotic decisions and all of that. Every decision that's going to be made will be based on maybe a larger extent sporting footballing decision, not much so commercial, but that will be on the back end. So these players, on the other hand, will be thinking, okay, they are getting abreast with what Eric Ten Hag is trying to pass across. Two, they are now more feeling like, okay, there's going to be stability in this club going forward in terms of the sporting side. So okay, now that those anxieties that used to be there, I'm not saying that's the case, but I'm just saying for some players, those anxieties that used to be there in terms of, okay, what direction is this club taking, right?
Mhm.
Might be out of the door, and everybody will not be seeing the blueprint, and everybody walking towards the blueprint, and then that in itself might give some level of clarity for the player. So for me, it would they won't be doing anything wrong. There won't be any harm caused, right? If they decide to keep him, I would keep him for just those two singular reasons. I would just keep it because the man has done well. Two trophies in 2 seasons. Tell me which coach has done
So,
that
so,
post.
I'm trying to. So that's what I was trying to. So let's quickly we just for 1 minute. If you eliminate the trophies, still,
Oh,
will you keep
if I eliminate the trophies, I would keep him. Just you know why? Season one, he did well. We were coming from a very low end, and put us in the Champions League third. Everybody tends to say, okay, we got knocked out of the Champions League, bro. The man put us in the Champions League, so if he got knocked out, he took us there, right? And rightly so. I'm not saying that that's the case, but I'm just saying we're making a fuss over somebody that if we're not going to be in the Champions League. If we're going off that season we left, we're not going to. So he took us there. That's one. Now he won us the Carabao Cup. Now you say we should take up the Carabao Cup. Those trophies. I'm like, okay, let's me even take up the trophy. Let's me put it that it got us to 2 finals. Got the players believing in themselves. Like, you know what, we could actually win a silverware, right? It got them believing in themselves. Now that's 1/1. Now second year, not so great, but it got the players believing in themselves that they also could win a silverware, even in a poor and not so great a season, right? So for me, that's about 1.5, or even let's say 1/2. That, bro, Tess, that's 50-50, bro. That's 50-50. So if I'm not adding the trophies now. So if we add the trophy now, there's gonna be now the scale of there's equilibrium at the scale, the weighing scale, right? Now put the trophies that he won, that tilted towards the side of, okay, you know what, give this guy the third year. Let's see if it will be 2/3. 2/3, we know it's a good score.
Yeah, so again, I'll keep it. I'll certainly keep it tonight, right? For the reasons you've mentioned, and I believe, right? I believe like he's been hampered with so many issues, and I think we've not seen the best out of him. It's like basically, it's like you having what they called so you bought what they call a knife that's very good, right? So you still have what they call a bit of plastic in front of the knife, and after you probably pulled trying to unpackage it, right? So it's not cutting right?
Yeah.
So I think taking out that plastic and those stuff blocking the edges, right? So I think Eric Ten Hag, right, has
sometimes you still need to just put the knife through the file, the knife sharpener, and just so I think with the Ineos coming, they could just be the sharpener, and the man could just have some weight off his shoulder, and he focus.
And also, it could also spoil him too. It could spoil him too.
Yeah.
My job is not what's called safe.
It's not safe here, bro. I need to let's see. Yeah, last year of my contract, I need to. Do I want to stay here for another 2-3 years? I need to prove a point. If I'm going to be leaving to another club, I need to make sure that I'm leaving this third year in a very good condition, so that I could have suitors coming for me. So you're spot on, Tej. The man has his own. Whilst the Ineos and the Troller Group have their own motivation, this man also has his own motivation to make sure that everything goes well in his third season under a structure. Because for me, I believe this man reads the news and the social media, where he knows that fans are actually saying, give this man his last year in his contract under a structure. So fans are believing that this man, he knows that fans believes in him in terms of having a structure. He knows. So I'm not going to say much.
Big up, I have Prof in here. Omo.
Almost hatred towards Eric Ten Hag is becoming unhealthy for me, bro.
No, I want to hear Omo. I'll bring it in now.
Well, that's it. I already spammed. I used all my hatred energy that I've saved up throughout the season. I used it yesterday, and then come up it right now.
It's because it's becoming unhealthy for me, bro.
You see me, my hatred amplified yesterday, because Champions League final, I told people that Sancho was there to represent Manchester United. Since you couldn't get there, we sent a representative like, show up, so they got said that Manchester United came to the final. It's a representation of Manchester United.
And honestly, I was listening on Flash Score audio commentary, and it's like the commentator actually said that. So there's a representative of Manchester United right in the Champions League final, and the man actually he said that. He was trying to take a dig, then he was like, no dig intended. I just mean like Sancho. I'm like, yo, bro, what do you mean?
Listen, all I would say is, if Sancho was here, we don't go to the FA Cup final. No. Yeah, Sancho said we don't go to the FA Cup final. We would probably went to the Champions League final. And with Sancho over there, they got the Champions League final. So it's just that simple.
But
So,
Sancho played in the group stage, didn't he?
No, I don't think so.
He did. He didn't.
He got that January.
No, the group stage for the Champions League. We were in the group stage, right?
No, he didn't play no group stage. He didn't play any minutes. It was during the Arsenal game when it didn't happen, game week 3.
are you serious?
Yeah.
Sancho didn't play in the Champions League.
So for me,
he left in January on loan to Dortmund.
I know he left in January. The issue started in, I think, the back end of September, right?
It started during the game versus Arsenal.
September thereabout, yeah, because that was the third game.
They picked him because of training levels.
Yeah.
Funny man.
Are you saying you back the coach? Sorry, Sancho over the coach?
I back Sancho over Erik ten Hag. Erik ten Hag. Not Manchester United. Over Erik ten Hag is a difference.
So I want to ask you, but I know why. Wait, I won't go over old brand. But for example, you are a manager, and you spoke something about your employee. Your employee basically can come to you and address that. Even probably can go to senior leadership and say, I didn't like what my manager did. Right? It's doing it in-house, right? So it's actually managing that in-house. Sancho going outside to basically now going probably to everyone and say, "This my manager is a liar." How would you? Do you think he would take it, or will you think
he has to defend himself by saying the manager did this and that? And I understand that point. But the thing is, like, because the English media, they baited the manager, and the manager took that bait. The manager took that bait. They baited him like, "Oh, how come Sancho didn't play? Oh, train levels." So Sancho like, "Hey, I do train." That's all he said. Like, "Yo, don't believe the hype. I do train." And the manager took it personally.
Okay. I'll move to the next one here that we saw this week, right? And let me know your thoughts. So the news that basically, what's his name? Bruno Fernandes' agent actually speaking to other club, right? From my point of view, I don't. So it's I believe Bruno's a very intelligent player, but I believe that because he played differently towards the latter stages of what they call the season. So I wouldn't want Bruno to go. People are saying it's likely using this to get what they call contract. I'll go to probably Drex. So Drex, what do you think? What do you think is happening with this Bruno saga?
It could be a case of maybe, like you said, looking to get a new contract, right? Also, it could also be. Remember the time when Rooney did something like this, when Rooney wanted, not like he was trying to leave the club, but it was asking questions about what next, and Sir Alex didn't even entertain that conversation when Rooney left, and we heard in the report that there was an unrest between the club and Wayne Rooney looking, So it could be several factors. One, it could be that for true that the agent is just getting himself ready, just in case Bruno decides to say, "Okay, I have had my conversation with the new guys, and I don't feel like I don't trust that what they are saying, whatever they are saying looks like a smoke screen. I don't really believe it. I don't buy it. So can you do something for me?" Right? It's an agent would actually do their duty when it comes to the window, when it comes to the transfer window. You see those agents. That's why I was upset with Phil Jones, right? And some of our United players. Like, don't you have agents that would actually try to look for
a club for you?
Like, look for clubs for you. I know it's because every agent, whether you like it or not, they're after their pockets, right? So for me, it could be a case of Bruno maybe looking to find out exactly what these guys have in store for them, and if it's not something that he buys into, it's coming towards the end of his career, man, like, get something out there and go win some huge silverware. Because as it stands now, I know I want the structure. I said I wasn't going to be too I would just sit and watch, but as it stands now, it feels like the Ineos, they've not really decided on what they want to do. They are still in their meetings, and they're having these series of meetings, and we just have to wait. Maybe some of these players don't have the patience to wait. They want to know what's happening. Transfer window opens in about 13 or 12 days, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, Bruno, if he leaves, will I be sad? Yes, I would be, the way I was when Cristiano Ronaldo left. But it won't be the end of the world for me. I would just miss him. I would miss that energy. I would miss that passion. I would miss that personality in the United shirt. But soldier go, soldier come, barracks remain the same. That's all I have to say.
So Omar, I know probably might be a different opinion. Omar, what do you want Bruno to go? Do you think
he's looking for a contract? This is contract year. His contract, and he knows once he kick a ball at Europe, it's over.
Okay. So you think
Say that again. Say that again. Once he kick a ball at Europe, I don't know. Say that again.
Euro's in June 14th, first of Europe. If you kick the ball, the price has gone up. So if you want to sign him now. Once he goes there and kick a ball, the price has gone up.
The price for Bruno goes up, or the price for his contract negotiations.
His contract, anything that has to do with Bruno Fernandes goes up.
Okay,
so you have to do that immediately.
Okay.
So again, I think again.
But Omar, quick question. Test two. Quick question. Do you guys feel like he's done enough? I'm just being neutral here. I know my answer, but do you guys feel like he's done enough to actually get an improved contract?
For me, though, I'll tell you, as in, we're not struggled. We're not struggled, but also I look at his playing in a what they call a very difficult team, right? So I think as in huge.
Bruno for Portugal and Bruno for United are two different Brunos.
Exactly. That's what I'm really saying. Like, Portugal is so good. United, the players he has, right? Like, this I don't understand. So it's difficult.
As in, either one way or the other, he's getting that contract. So is that from us or from somebody else? Because again, Portugal are favorites.
Are you serious? They're favorites?
Yeah, they're favorites to winning.
Wow. They have good players, so they have very good players, as in very good players. No, I think Derrickson, to answer your question, yeah, to an extent, I think Bruno deserves it. I think is the best signing we've had post Salas Ferguson.
For me, you see that ball he gave to Kobe Mainoo for the second goal, right? That's what Bruno does for Portugal every time he goes to Portugal. He always finds those. So, and I'm like, man, is it that because I know I don't want to agree with this statement where people say, okay, you have to get players for a certain players, right, to bring out the best in a certain player. But I don't know if I should take an exception to this Bruno's case, because I noticed how Pogba played while Bruno was in the team. Pogba was very, very relaxed, and he was actually happy when Bruno was playing alongside Bruno in the team. So I just feel like some of our players are not on the same par with him. So for me, whatever they want to do, I'm just watching and sipping my coffee, looking at Ineos and the Troller Group. Let them make their decision, whatever they do, bro. Because as it stands, we don't know anything. We as fans, we don't know anything. Like some of us are on the in. Like my brother down there is on the out. A lot of people are indecisive. We don't know anything. I don't feel like we owe them or they owe us anything to come out and say, oh, the manager is staying. The manager is staying. He's got a contract already, like I said earlier. He's got a contract for 3 years. They might not even announce anything. They might just say, okay, you know what? We've signed this player. Season has kickstarted. Let's go. So, but if he's leaving, they might give us a report. But that being said, we are tired, bro. I know we are tired. Us fans, I know people tend to say we don't deserve to be in the know, but we are tired. We just want stability. Whether you're taking the manager out and giving us somebody and backing that person for another 3-4 years, because there's no point bringing somebody else and the next year we are saying, no, this guy's going to. Like, it doesn't make sense, bro. Yeah, I don't know. I know almost of a different perspective when it comes to if the manager is not producing what he needs to produce, he can as well go after 1 year.
So, Omar, quick question: who would you take in place of Erik ten Hag?
My personal favorite is Robert De Zerbi.
De Zerbi?
Yeah, I'll take De Zerbi because again, I look at him and he's a manager. He could work with less and he could get the best out of the player we currently have. Because when people say like, "Oh, our players they're bad, they're the bad apple," I'm like, these are the same players that's able to get top 4 and all this. They're doing good in competition. Like I know they can go further than that. It's just that this we can't get with this manager currently right now, and with a better manager can get it.
But Robert De Zerbi hasn't done fantastic though. As in where at what pedigree?
Okay, this is what I'll say. Well, Robert De Zerbi and Brighton, where do you expect them to finish? They finished 11th.
Yeah, probably
he did 11th with that particular team. With that team that was that they lost players. Not like I'm not counting the one off injury. Like they sold their best players. Like Manchester United finished selling Bruno. That we end up finishing 3rd. No, we end up finishing 8th. We didn't sell Bruno. All our players are here. The only players we lost are the players we don't use, which was Fred. They sold their best players in the middle of the season. Last year they sold Trossard.
So, but
that Trossard case was a dispute between himself and Roberto De Zerbi.
Yeah, it's a dispute because he wanted to leave. But
no, it was the manager. He had a dispute with the manager, and the board backed the manager, and case closed. Everybody saw, because now the thing, because everybody likes De Zerbi or people want De Zerbi, they don't talk about it. The club backed De Zerbi, and it was done because he wasn't really playing Trossard. Trossard wanted more game time. They had their own fallout. And
I think Trossard wanted to leave because Arsenal was calling.
No, Trossard wanted an assurance on game time. The manager was like, "I'll use you when I want to use you," and Trossard was like, "You know what? Nah." Arsenal was already interested, right? And that time, because before he said yes to Arsenal, he wanted some clarity from Roberto De Zerbi, because I think they had a spat, right? And the manager put him on the back burner, and he was like, that was when all of those things were happening. Rumor had it that Arsenal was coming in. Then all of a sudden they became concrete, right? The man was like, you know what, I'm leaving, because De Zerbi told him out there, like, yo, I'll use you when I want to use you. I'm the chief here, right? And the club backed him, like, okay, you know what, you don't want this guy, go. Arsenal is calling, let's do good riddance, bye, go. So just because he's a De Zerbi, nobody is talking about, and he's not an English player or is a well-liked manager. Nobody seems to talk about the disagreement he had with Trossard. Everybody sees that Trossard wanted to leave, and that was the narrative. But if you look deep into it, it wasn't. He was not really giving Trossard the time. I think.
Rex, are you there?
They had the misunderstanding. We can't have manager and players disrupt the season for us. Bye.
So for me though, I think Potter had the limited talent, right? And he made what they called, he set up a foundation where Brighton was what they called a force to reckon with. I think De Zerbi actually dropped down that Brighton what they called in terms of how Potter actually made them right to look like a very good side. So that's my only concern with him. One of my concerns with De Zerbi. And also he hasn't achieved anything anywhere. I believe he was in Italy before.
Yes, that all of that is true. All of that is true. But then again, the way I see, I like the way he played football. I like the way he played with young teams. And again, it doesn't matter who's injured, who's available. They all play the same way. They all follow one way. And I know somebody's gonna bring up, like somebody might say the quote away, said, "Oh, I just want to play entertaining football." Like, listen, y'all Brighton, are you here to win the league? No, you're not. You're not here to win the league at Brighton.
But you can actually push for it, or you can make a case for it, like Aston Villa did.
You know what? You're right.
Because Aston Villa pushed for it, like, so I think you can make it. So my only concern, to me, right, as in, I don't have an issue with this. I just feel like there's no one really out there I think is better than Erik ten Hag current. I think it's a poor managers and market, and that's my concern. In like, if we change him, what will we get? So that's my concern.
I just they all come down to, like, listen, like I've said before, Erik ten Hag is not, to me, he's not a good coach. Like, he's just not a good coach. His man management's poor. His in-game, everything is poor.
Okay. Before we finish, right? So two things, right? Casemiro looks like he's going to Saudi, I think.
Yeah,
I
let
think
let him go on vacation, please.
I think everyone would agree. I'm not sure Drex, will you agree for Casemiro to go? Drex.
You're muted, Drex.
Or probably he doesn't have a service because I think he's driving. So, but for me though, I think I would Casemiro. Yeah, I know it was like it didn't have service. So, Casemiro most likely I'll let Casemiro go, and what they called, and I'm not sure how this news. Though I saw that United actually going for what they called. So Drex is back. Let me get here.
Yes,
Drex,
can you hear me?
Yes.
First, I was going to say Roberto De Zerbi is not a bad coach. Let me just put it out there, so most people don't think they don't go get wrong misconceptions saying, oh, Drex, no. Roberto De Zerbi is not a bad coach, right? But I'm just looking at what we have in terms of the players, right? And I'm looking at the size of the club, Manchester United, right? And we know Ole Gunnar said it. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer said it. So the main man, the special one, has said it. Some of these players have egos that they think they're bigger than what they are. Then their ego is as fragile as an eggshell, right? So all of that is what I'm looking into. I like De Zerbi coming in. Are we going to now bring in and frustrate yet another manager? It's not more of if the manager is good or not, bro. If United is a well-oiled machine, I think anybody can actually do well. But it's the fact that we are not a well-oiled machine. We're bringing in yet another manager to come and suffer.
Mm-hmm.
People tend to say, "Oh, United is the place where players don't thrive, players' career." But we've seen how managers are suffering at United. So it's more of, for me, the reason why I said it earlier.
Drex, okay, you've lost Drex. Drex, are you there?
You could actually say, give him the last 1 year. But if he doesn't go well, the Ineos doesn't have anything really to lose. They could actually now. For me, it's a case of, and I know I'm saying this, maybe people might disagree, but it's a case of there's an easy fall guy for you right there. If he doesn't go well, right, you can actually say, okay, we decide to do XYZ with him, but it didn't end up well. Now we're going to move. By that time, you've gotten your Danash, because you've gotten your Danash, what? You've gotten your people in place. Because guess what, bro? The structure that we are having now, right? Let's say by August, right? We won't actually reap the full dividend or the full benefit until maybe after a year. So I'm just saying this. So now, if Erik ten Hag gets better and say, okay, the last year of his contract, right, it does well, puts us back in the Champions League. Let's say we finished second, third, we're back in the Champions League. We actually win another cup, right? Let's say this time around we win the FA Cup and we push, because we're in Europa League, and we push and we win the Europa League, bro. I'm just saying one of these cups, right? And we push and we win the Europa League or something like that. Now, Ineos can actually do a review and say, okay, this time around, XYZ, okay, you did good, but you know what? It's not optimal to what we want, right? We're going to let you go. But guess what they would have done? They would have steadied the ship. They would have put the confidence back in the players to know, okay, you know what? You guys are not actually that bad. You guys have won 3 trophies in 3 years, right? You've done well. Although the second season of the ex-manager wasn't that great, but we saw how you guys bounced back in the 3rd season. You steadied the ship, and now you can actually do whatever you want to do. At that point, you're not paying Erik ten Hag to actually leave. He's leaving.
So let me tell you, anything makes Erik ten Hag take his trophy again, they're giving him a new contract. It's by force. The fans will force you to give him.
The fans can force, but you are the fans. See, the fans can force, but you are the boss. You actually make your decision to say, okay, you know what? I know the fans are crying that we should give you a contract, but guess what? We don't want to. We want to move on. We want to take this thing further because.
That'll be great.
As a business,
he don't deserve a new contract, because as Ineos, I'm bringing in my guy. I'm bringing in Mike.
Omo, this thing you guys always say, okay, a new management coming, it brings fine. It's a case of yeah, but it's not. Let's not make it look like as if it's an absolute stuff where it happens 100 over 100. No, because
no, it doesn't say so. Drex, sorry, it doesn't really work out though. But I think right, it's where everyone is saying, my guy, it's more so like you bring in someone you can actually. So, for example, probably it might be difficult to build a relationship with Eric Ten Hag. Even though Eric Ten Hag does so well, but that's they don't have what they call the
that rapport.
That rapport. They don't as in so.
As in that's to build this relationship again. It's a new relationship.
So I don't know, right? It's the probably think they want to.
Okay. Who's got Dan Ashworth got rapport with Roberto De Zerbi?
I believe.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't.
I think it's Omar. Omar has because Omar's brought in De Zerbi, goalkeeping coach to Nice. So
because that's because this Dan Ashworth was out when Dan Ashworth was leaving when De Zerbi was coming in.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So I don't think so. Omar has, I think, the closest person that has a rapport with Roberto De Zerbi, like the prof is saying, is Omar Barada, not even Braswell.
And Dan Ashworth has more relationship with Southgate.
I don't want to mention that name. Try this show at all.
Okay, real quick, the Euros is starting. If England do well, the noise will get louder. That's what I would say.
Yeah. If England does well, the noise will get loud. And
if they get to semis, that's all you will hear.
Almost. Let me ask you a question. Do you really trust Brett? Because
who?
The football scene. He's done in the cycling and whatever.
Wait, what name did you say?
It's Braceford.
Braceford? No, I don't. No. He just as a psychologist. I don't trust him. I saw what he did.
Psychologist.
Bro, because it feels like he's the one running the show, bro. Right now, it feels like I know they've given Wilcox some power to take over to work in his capacity as a technical director, right?
Yes.
But I feel like De Zerbi doesn't have a rapport.
No, as in the reason why, because Braceford when OG Nice, them doing bad when Ineos bought them for the first 2-3 years was Braceford. That's all Braceford right there. First 2-3 years. That's all him running the show. And for that just proves to me you don't know how to run the show. So they just put him any position available. Like they put him at DOF. He's not working. They just wait for Dan Ashworth. That's why he's interim. Is he interim? Yeah. No, Omar. One of them is interim.
The interim is Claude Blanc, I believe.
Yeah. Those they're just a face. They're not doing any work. We just wait for Dan Ashworth to come in because Dan Ashworth will decide who the manager is. Because it's the same thing Dan Ashworth did at what they call it, Newcastle. I saw the documentary.
Yeah, the same thing.
He does deal with like bringing him Anthony Gordon. He facilitated those moves. So those are the type of moves I want to make. Because for example, let's say center back. I heard that we're linked to Chava Shabla, and people are upset. Listen, that's a good signing. 25 mil for a center back in the Premier League.
That's a good.
I'll take it.
You know why I would take it? Because if it does, it's 25 mil one, and if it doesn't work, that's an option.
Exactly.
Because for me, it's a case of if you have that guy, you can afford to sell Lindelof, and Lindelof can fetch you another 15. So you might plus or minus, you only spend 10.
And people say he's not good enough. Just buy it for 25 mil and buy somebody else then.
100%. No, because we need bodies. Whether we like it or not, right? And I've said this thing several times, bro. I've said this thing. Just because a player didn't cut it at the previous club doesn't make him bad when he goes to a different club.
And we have extra games now in the
So
2 extra games.
I'm not really even the Tosin guy that United fans are crying about that we should get. They just want a signing. United fans just want a signing.
I don't want Tosin because he was on a free, and those wages, those payments are just gonna go up. I ain't want to. I don't.
For me, it's a case of United fans just want something to just ease.
Yeah, because in spaces they want Ineos to act fast, like they want to say who's the manager. But
the truth is,
wait.
You've got to wait because we've never had structure for almost 10 10 years. Now we have structure. You guys want to press the fast forward button, and I'm like, why are we doing this, bro?
And there's no leaks. Oh, beautiful,
And
beautiful.
Ineos might end up not be the greats like most people are, but let them do their thing, so we can actually say, okay, they took their time, because whatever Ineos is doing now, right, is giving us the fans more ammunition if we want to go at them, because we say, okay, you took your time, you took all the time you had in the world, and you came out with these. Now,
Yeah,
if he ends up being a success, oh, now we see why you took your time, because you took your time
exactly.
to cross your T's and dot your I's. Now, if it doesn't work out, we say, okay, you took all this while just to give us garbage. So we as fans, they're giving us more ammunition. At the same time, they're giving us more things to use in praising them if it goes right. So for me, that's why I said I've waited for long for structure. I wouldn't just want to just cuss or just go at them now. Let them take their time. Let them take their time. Let them fix, because 10 years of mismanagement, Tesh, it's no joke, bro. I keep saying this. I keep saying this every time. It's no joke, bro.
It's why I won't scream ETH out anymore, because I know he's already gone. I'm calm. He's out of here.
You think? I actually think he will stay.
What's that?
I think ETH will stay.
Listen, I'm not gonna fight you. I think he's.
No, I'm not saying that's what I'm not saying. I can force the decision. I'm saying based on what I think, because in your right, it's easier for them to keep ETH right than probably bring a manager who then struggles. Then everyone basically points the finger back at them. So if they leave Ten Hag, and Ten Hag doesn't do well, they have what they call a basis even to let him go. So I think it's almost like it's like a win-win for them to keep Erik Ten Hag.
See, Amo, you said you no more screaming Erik Ten Hag at, which I like, right? But let me ask you a very simple question, bro. If they don't get the manager that they want, right, at the moment, because we all agree that the managers market now it's not too great, right? Would you, and they say, okay, you know what, they don't say anything, we just by default know that Erik Ten Hag is in his last year of his contract, right?
Yes.
Would you still keep mute on the Erik Ten Hag out until the end of the season? Will you just go, you know what, let me see? Will you just go with this knowledge, knowing fully whether if he doesn't cut it, good or bad, he's leaving? Would you just go with this knowledge and say, you know what, I'm not going to be crying Erik Ten Hag out?
No.
Good or bad, he's leaving?
No. I need him gone.
Because
the way I look at it as a manager, what manager have you ever left on a free?
No manager leaves on a free, though.
Exactly. So it's either you fire him, and the whole thing when they say give him an extra year, like he's gonna want his plus one.
But if they give him the plus one is United's is in United's hand. So United can actually say, okay, we give you plus one. And if he does well, there'll be clubs out there that will want his service, and United can say, okay, we want to let this guy go. Come, let's do business. You can actually do business, bro. You can actually do business.
No, I don't believe it.
And okay, we're talking about Roberto De Zerbi. Roberto De Zerbi, they let him go, and there was
they lowered his release clause, and somebody has paid for it. We don't know who paid for his release clause, so he's
somebody. The truth about that Roberto De Zerbi, let me just give you my own side of that. I don't believe. I know they said if somebody's paid his release clause, and everybody's thinking maybe it could be United or whatever. That's a possibility on the one hand. On the other hand, it was obvious that Brighton wanted to get done with him. Brighton, it was more of a mutual. They were looking to, like, you know what, I think we made a mistake, let's get somebody else. Brighton were on the verge of letting this guy go, bro. Brighton were like okay to let him go, even if he meant nullifying the contract and say everybody go mutually. You're not gonna your severance pay maybe might not be the total package. Everybody was looking. We're okay to let each other walk away without any force. So let's not make it look like.
I could tell you why I think he left. What I know, he left because his ambition was so high. Like, they qualified for Europe. He said, "I want to go back to Europe again." And I'm like, "What are you talking about? We're a Southern club." He wants to go back to Europe, and they're like, "No, we're not doing that." That's how they sold all their best player and buy youth player like that left back Valentino Bacco. He's an amazing upcoming talent, and they bought him because they know they're just gonna sell him right back.
Come on. So again, Ten Hag, I believe. I want him to stay one more year. I believe in my stake. I think it benefits what they call the yes.
Yeah, let's just do another 15 minutes on just speak around
On,
through what's happening in the world of sport.
yeah, that's what I was
I'll be
going to
back
do
in 2
because
minutes. I'll be back in 1 minute. Continue.
Okay.
okay, that's fine. That's fine. So Drex, your thought on this, right? So I think I missed
Mbappe.
my no. Let's leave Mbappe. We'll probably talk about Mbappe last. United are probably saying United are most likely going for Kuna,
Matthias Cunha.
Matthias Cunha. How do you, as in, what do you think? Do you think that's a deal that might happen, or do you want it to happen?
Bro, see, right now, right? I'm just
Hmm.
they've been we're still in the area, or we're still in the bracket of monitoring,
One cannot see.
interested, um I think there was one that they brought the other time that looks like involved, romantically involved, and all of that, right? Until there's a see, bro, until there's a concrete leak, because you can't be giving me, you can't be teasing the bunny with a with a carrot, and you don't you
Yeah.
so until there's something concrete, bro, I don't want to even get involved. Like the Olise deal that they were saying, okay, both the previous regime and the new regime, they all agree on the Olise deal. There's nothing concrete about that. There's nothing. They're not moving forward about that. It feels like, I know a lot of people have been saying, oh, the deal, like talks have been ongoing and all of that. It's a case of, oh, yeah, here we go very soon, but it's not looking like that,
Bro,
bro.
even it's looking like Chelsea might actually swapped take
No,
that
it's
taken from us.
I don't see the reason why people. I don't know why people get vexed when Chelsea gets a player from any of these clubs. Chelsea don't do anything. They just wait for a big club to actually go and
To
say,
go
okay,
for a player.
they're interested in a player, and say, like, oh, this one is good for this guys to go for this guy. Therefore, I mean, this one is good. Let's
It's
go for.
good.
So
It's good. I agree.
it's like Chelsea. They listen to the likes of Mark Robic, and they're like, oh, why is no other person going for this player? So Chelsea are like, oh, for 2, 3 clubs, big clubs to be going for a particular player means that,
This
like,
guy's good.
take
This
for
guy's good.
example, United and it was rumored that United and Newcastle were interested in Tosin. And oh, for Newcastle and United to be interested in Tosin, these guys
Ah,
five,
this
they're
guy, this
ahead
guy
of.
heavy. He heavy.
Yeah, let's go get him. It's free. Boom, good. So it's. I think that's. I think I've come to, before I didn't want to believe it, but I'm beginning to believe it a little bit, because all through last season we saw it. Arsenal were going for Modric. Chelsea were quiet all of a sudden. Oh, there was a guy there. Let's go. So Todd Bowley is doing this whole US thing where, oh, draft pick and all of that. Oh, there's a talent. Okay, let me see who my competitors are going for. I might just go for that person. So for me, the Matthias Cunha thing, if it happens, I'll be excited. But right now, I just want to keep my powder dry and just make sure that, and just hope. I don't think, if you want to put a percentage to it, I don't see it happening.
Yeah.
They
Okay.
they they might have a different profile, but again, I'm not the technical director. We have Wilkos, and we're gonna have Dan Ashworth very soon. Wilkos, we all know, was Wilkos, we all know, had his own say with the money and all of that, right? So let's just see. We have people that have proven record. I don't know. I don't think Dan Ashworth has a lot of that, but yeah, people say he's got proven record. We have Omar Barada coming in, so let's see what these guys, their experience and their wealth of knowledge would bring and transform United into. But for the moment, any player we're interested in, it still goes back to the era of interested, romantically involved, and all of that.
Yes.
I'm not getting myself invested in all of those reports.
Okay. Okay. So quickly before we round up, right? There's been what they call news on certain news in football with Kylian Mbappe's final move to Real Madrid. We also Real Madrid won yesterday, right? It's like the Champions League is becoming what they call the Farmers League for as Real Madrid is concerned.
Because they'll
So
win it
what?
They'll win it next season.
So what's your take though? What's your take? And I don't know if somebody's
My
yeah.
take on the
Yeah.
Mbappe thing is pretty straightforward. Mbappe, they already knew. This is the biggest coup for me, in terms of, okay, we wanted to give you some money last time, but you said no. We talk to Mbappe and say, you know what, Mbappe, chill, you will come to us. Real Madrid did not invest in a striker, and they won the league without a striker. Now they have a quote unquote a striker, right? So for me, this is how you do business. This is how you do. You got if there if now if the, Tess, I'm going to put this in two ways. Real Madrid got a player in the caliber of Mbappe for free. I know they're going to pay all of those money to him, and all of those sign-on bonuses and what's not and what's not. We are not interested in all of that. Most of the time, what we're interested in is the sign-on, the transfer fee. it is said that Real Madrid got this guy for free. They didn't pay any money to PSG. Imagine United letting a player like Mbappe
Bruno.
leave for free. No, like Bruno
or
or
Bruno, yeah.
Rashford leave for free. The internet would have broken by now.
Yeah, I know these guys are pissed. They are actually
So
pissed.
remember, that when I say is a coup because not one single penny got to the club, and the club paid good money for this guy from Monaco to PSG.
But won't you blame the club? They might offer them 200 million one time with a years left, and they rejected.
Who did?
I think probably is it 2 years ago, or probably a year ago. I'm not sure.
No, they offered them. They offered them last year. I think they offered them 100
million, and they rejected.
They said no. It was
they could have sold them. They could have sold them to Madrid a long time ago, but they waited. They got too greedy, and they waited. Now they're paying for it.
No, I don't think it was a case of greedy. It's greed. They wanted the man to stay. They felt like they are in the same powerhouse.
That's why I said they're greedy, because you kept on renewing, like he was gonna leave eventually.
Yeah, and it's basically.
Bro, they gave that guy blood money, bro.
It's bigger than the club. It's almost bigger than the club.
They gave that guy some good money, bro. That guy was on some good money and left them like that, bro. You know, the report had it that the Prime Minister of France actually stepped in, and that was how Mbappe calmed down. So Mbappe actually deceived everybody, deceived a
fun fact, Kylian Mbappe brother that was at PSG. Now he's playing at Lille. They sold him to Lille.
Are you serious?
Yeah, Mbappe brother. He was at PSG. They sold him to Lille. Like, listen, he had a grip on that club, and that grip needed to let go. Like, it was kind of like a tug of war with Luis Enrique versus Mbappe. That's how I knew he was leaving him. That's the worst hidden secret in football. That Kylian Mbappe.
Everyone else was going. And again, though, but I heard they are owing him 80 million and won't pay him in wages.
You'll probably take him to court and they will settle, most likely.
They will have to settle, because they would have to settle. The Prime Minister would have to step in again.
Because the only way they were making money is through the Champions League and winning the league. And now Kylian Mbappe, the X factor of constantly winning the league all over and over, is gone. So now other teams could have a chance, at least.
Yes. For Madrid, so Madrid is bringing in Mbappe. They're bringing also Hendricks. What is that? Then I think that probably someone would have to leave. And I think the name I'm hearing more so is Rodrigo.
Let me tell you how this Real Madrid is a team that operate on we're gonna win any way possible. Their style of play is we're gonna do whatever it is to get that W. And with Hendrick, let's say Hendrick, Kylian Mbappe, Rodrigo, Vinicius, they'll figure it out. It's a good problem for them, and Ancelotti could figure it out. Like, Ancelotti is able to tell Tchouaméni to play center back. Tell Carvajal to play left back. He will figure it out.
Don't you think that's the same model that them Sir Jim have at the back of their mind, Tesh?
Model whereby you have what?
What do you mean by
that? The Real Madrid, they want to go with the Real Madrid route. They want to go. Real Madrid is their. What's the word now?
Yeah, what do you call it? Yeah.
Is the model they are looking at?
Yes, I think so. Yeah, I think that's what I look
at. Not even City, not even Arsenal. That's the model.
I think for business continuity is the best model.
And Drex, you see, the thing is, like, I want them to go that route, but don't go the correct route. You see what they're doing now. This team was built up to win. Back then, I forgot who they had on their team. Like, they had Benzema. They had Bale at one point. They had Ronaldo at one point. They have Ramos, Pepe, Varane. Like, you have to let players go little by little. You can't just do the old school Galactical way when they have Figo and just buy all the superstars and say work. Like, it won't work like that. You know that team won one Champions League.
True.
Yes.
True.
So they might just go this route, because first 2 seasons. I'm not. If they bring in another manager, this is key point. If they bring in another manager, first 2 seasons, I'm not expecting any trophy. I don't care about no FA Cup. I don't care about no Carabao Cup. Try to fight for that. Try to get better and better to go for that league.
Are we recording this?
Top 4 minimum.
Yes, we're recording this. So he's saying. So I think we'll have that saved there. Omo somewhere.
There's received.
So
But
someone doesn't.
no. I like see, because this is the same thing for me, right? It's the same thing for me. If we sack the manager, right? I know a lot of people would. We are United fans. We know ourselves. A lot of people will actually still cry, right? But for me, if we sack the manager, let this one go and get a new manager. I'm not expecting anything, right? I just want to see what is mine is. What can this structure? How can this structure get us back on the trajectory of the upward trajectory, where we know, okay, there's a growth pattern, we can see the growth, right? And yeah, that we know that, okay, this thing is working. In the next 3 years, then we'll start reaping the dividend of whatever labor that they are putting in now, right? That's what I want. It's not there's no quick fix in all of.
Because I'm looking at all the other clubs, as in
There's no quick fix.
There's no, like in the Champions League, there's no quick fixing for everybody that did well from beginning to the finals. Even in the Europa League, the whole knockout stage, there's no quick fix there. Everybody worked. They constantly build their team little by little. Bayern, Arsenal, Madrid.
For me, that Champions League, let me just talk on Champions League. For me, the Champions League with Dortmund, I don't know what they were doing in the first half. I don't know what they let that game. They would look back on that game and be like, yo, we let that thing slip. Maybe the inexperience of the manager came into be, or the occasion of the game, of for some of these players.
I think it's the inexperience of the manager. As in,
Yeah.
he's good, but so because again, last year he could have won the league and he bottled it by
Yeah. So for me, it's
season. So like he has it's just like
maybe the occasion got to him. Maybe the occasion got to him. Maybe he overthinked a tinkering too much. Like, I just felt like then he had to take Adeyemi off and brought Marcus Royce. I'm like, bro, Marcus Royce is Marcus Royce, like what me and Tess used to say.
Yeah, when did
Marcus Royce of old.
Yeah, when they took up Adeyemi, they scored. Like as in when they took up Adeyemi, I'm like, this makes no sense.
Didn't for me? I would have even taken off, if you want to take any of your winger, I'd taken off Sancho and leave Adeyemi there, because Adeyemi was more of a threat than Sancho yesterday. Let truth be told, I'm one of Sancho's fan, but truth be told, Adeyemi was more of a threat yesterday than Sancho. When he took that, I'm like, no, why? Because I was like, why did you do this?
It's simple. Cover was locked.
Yeah.
And Adeyemi was beating for pace time after time. The moment you go Adeyemi, Cover start roaming up.
That was like, you're letting the dog loose, bro. You're letting the dog loose. And
like Adeyemi was like, as in,
bro, he was being caged. The minute they took him off, and I'm like, the minute they took him off, Kabaya was back of the net. I'm like, yo, bro,
he's there at the corner kick. But
bro, why did you do this? Because the time Adeyemi was there, when they had their corner kick, there was a break that Adeyemi beat Kabaya for pace. It was Kabaya had to, like, it was by luck. Kabaya had to even go back on the goal to make sure that the thing don't go in. The minute you did that, Kabaya knew that there was nobody that was going to beat him for pace, so he might as well just go into the 18-yard, and he will still sprint back to his own goal. He's even faster than Sancho.
They were say, I think they did the second hump, and it will haunt him. Like, how can you overcome? He gotta overcome this one way or the other.
He would overcome it, but with the way the league, the way the people, every other person is trending, there's Leverkusen, there is Bayern Munich, there's even Leipzig, and I think Stuttgart as well. Maybe Stuttgart might have their hand full the next season because they're going to be playing in the Champions League. That might be a different. But they too, Bayern Dortmund are in the Champions League as well. So
and then again, next year's Champions League is different. You play.
It's different.
You only play one game with 4 games home, 4 games away, I believe. Yeah, 8 games in total.
So it's a lot of games. So let's just see, because the man needs to rewrite a little. Last season you lost the league. This season you lost the Champions League final.
He bottled the league last year.
Yeah. And we could say he actually bottled this one, because that substitution he made let Real Madrid lose.
It opened up the game because
So for me, he needs something real quick to cancel all of this. Else it will be looked at someone that maybe is not caught out for the big occasion.
True.
Big up, guys. So I think we've spoken a lot about what's happening in World of Football, United, and everything. Thank you. Big up, Omar. Big up, Drex. Any last word before we wrap up?
Yeah, for me, the Euros is coming, and keep it locked down to Diop Sport. We'll be covering some of the games, some Copa America games as well. And guys, this is to the United fans, right? Whatever would happen will happen. Let's not make a force out of it. Whatever would happen would happen. Whatever your decision is, whatever your opinion is, please just have your opinion and try as much as possible to just be respectful of other people's opinion. You might not agree with everybody, but the ability to actually sit down with somebody that is in disagreement with your opinion, and you guys have you have a conversation
like
without
you go
calling
back and
anybody.
forth, like structured argument, like
Without calling names,
yeah.
without calling anybody names, without saying anybody is deluded, without calling anybody fraud, without calling names, without putting insult in it. It's that ability to do that makes you a very matured fan. I know a lot of people will say I'm not a matured fan. They will say don't put me in that class, but we need to respect everybody's decision, bro. Because we as United fans, we are one. We should be united in support of our club. We all want the same thing for our club. So, like I said earlier, last word is if they sack the manager, I'm going to support the new one because guess what? My ego is not bigger than the club.
So if they sack the manager and they bring in what they call that Southgate.
If they have you, bro, it's like you don't know me. If they sack the manager and it is Southgate, I'll be the flag bearer of Southgate.
Okay, I mean I don't know, Sha.
No, you know I said that. You know, two things. One, to put it in people's face. Another thing is just to because I have to see either way. Okay, what's gonna happen? Southgate is the manager, and we go to Man City and we win a game. It was big because it's Southgate. I'm not gonna enjoy it. I'm gonna enjoy it. So that means I'm gonna back the manager.
I will enjoy it, right? I will enjoy the wins. But I think I'll probably be less patient if it actually goes wrong.
Okay, you'll be less patient. Me, I think my patience level has actually increased after I'm actually still apologizing for the fact that I wanted Ole out that time. So I'm actually still apologizing for that. Yeah.
So I know anything I call Ole, like Ole is not good.
Yeah, so I'm actually apologizing because I know it wasn't good, but the environment is as bad as it was as bad then as it is now. So Ole had a lot of stuff to deal with. So like because he was a calm guy and a lot of people were on his back. So for me, I'll be patient, man. Patience is the only thing I have. Patience and hope for that the football club ends up in a better place, bro. Big up everybody.
Last word before we go.
Listen. It doesn't matter who the manager is, so long as not Ten Hag. Get that out the way. And listen, there'll be a lot of reports that will link to a lot of players. If the player name is flashy, don't believe it. And that's about it.
Yeah, okay. True.
I agree that I probably think that Ineos is something that Ineos probably would stay away from flashy players. Big up everyone. Thank you everyone again for coming up and what they called and joining us here at the Up Spot. And again, we'll see you next week on the week that was. Big up.